Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of That's Ruddy Mysterious, a podcast of short tales about true mysteries. What created the Potomsky Crater? Who was involved in the 1963 Great Train Robbery? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts and references for all episodes can be found at that'sruddymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today's tale is about Skyquakes. James Fenimore Cooper wrote in his short story, The Lake Gun, about the Skyquakes that can be heard in the Seneca Lake area of New York. He wrote, "It is a sound resembling the explosion of a heavy piece of artillery that can be accounted for by none of the known laws of nature. The report is deep, hollow, distant, and imposing. The lake seems to be speaking to the surrounding hills, which send back the echoes of its voice in accurate reply." Cooper's story was published in 1850, before the machinery of today that we may expect to produce such sounds. Skyquakes are loud noises that come from the sky and which can be heard around the world. They most often occur in coastal areas or areas with lakes. Each area has its own name for the quakes. In India, they are called barasol guns. In Japan, they are umanari. Netherlands and Belgium call the quakes misperfers. In Italy, they are associated with lakes and have garnered the name lagoni. The Philippines call the quakes retumbos. The east coast of the United States calls them lake guns or Seneca guns because of their proximity to Seneca Lake in the Catskills area of New York. 2012 and 2017 were big years for Skyquakes. In 2017 alone, more than 64 Skyquakes were reported. In June of 2017, there was a loud boom along the San Diego coastline. The Navy took responsibility for this particular Skyquake. They said that 2 jets went supersonic about 35 miles from the coast. However, it's not normal to hear a sonic boom like this from so far away. At about 1:45 p.m. on November 14, 2017, residents near Birmingham, Alabama heard what was later deemed the Bama boom. Residents heard a very loud boom, prompting some to call 911. A couple of hours later, the National Weather Service's Birmingham station tweeted, "Regarding loud boom heard, we do not see anything indicating large fire/smoke on radar or satellite. Nothing on the USGS indicating an earthquake. We don't have an answer and can only hypothesize with you. 1. Sonic boom from aircraft. 2. Meteorite with current Leonid shower." No one could provide any obvious explanation for the boom. Bill Cook, the head of NASA's Meteoroid Environmental Office at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, doesn't believe the Bama boom was caused by a meteor. He says there was no report of a fireball. He also doesn't believe the boom was caused by an aircraft. He said that the seismic signature does not match the signature that would be produced by a jet's supersonic boom. Ontario, Canada's Elginfield Infrasound Array is located about 600 miles away from where the Bama boom was heard. The array picked up an infrasound wave linked to the Bama boom. Usually it would take a severe storm, avalanche, rocket launch, or something similar to create that kind of wave. On November 26, 2017, at about 7:24 a.m., a sound similar to the Bama boom was heard in the same area. Days later, another boom was heard in Denver, Colorado. This boom, however, had a reasonable explanation. A storage tank at a nearby oil and gas facility exploded, causing the sound to travel to Denver. Then, in August of 2017, India experienced a Skyquake. The boom was so loud that it broke the windows out of hotels in 2 towns in the immediate vicinity. In March of 2019, southern Idaho experienced a Skyquake. Sean Wilsey, a professor of geology at the College of Southern Idaho, wasn't entirely sure what may have caused the quake. They said, "I can't tell what it is, but I can tell you what it isn't. What it isn't is it's not an earthquake. If you actually pay attention to them when they occur, it's acoustic. They're sound waves. It's not actually the ground shaking, although sometimes the sound vibrations can cause a little bit of rattling in your house or a structure or something like that." Wilsey went on to say that Skyquakes usually happen at night when there's a higher pressure in the area. The military didn't take responsibility for this quake. At 3 a.m. on March 25, 2021, the Montreal area experienced 3 skyquakes. According to meteorologists, thunderstorms were approaching the area, but the meteorologists do not believe they were the cause of the skyquakes. In June of 2021, San Diego experienced another skyquake. It occurred just before 8:20 p.m. and was heard as far south as Tijuana and as far east as El Cajon. This was the 3rd skyquake the area experienced since February of that year. All 3 skyquakes caused earth shaking, but there were no earthquakes recorded in the area at the time. According to the military, these were not sonic booms from military exercises. Not all skyquakes sound the same. Sometimes the noise coming from the sky sounds like loud booms. Other times it's trumpets or foghorns. Sometimes the guns sound like actual artillery, while at other times they sound more like scraping metal. What causes these strange sounds to emanate from the sky? No one really knows, but some people have some theories. Some scientists believe the skyquakes are the sounds of faraway storms or quarry blasts or even secret military exercises. Others believe that shallow earthquakes which don't shake the ground cause the sounds to seem like they are coming from the sky. Some believe that the coastal skyquakes are sounds of faraway massive tsunamis breaking out at sea. Meanwhile, others believe that the sounds heard are the result of explosions of methane gases or gases escaping from underground vents. Some say that skyquakes are the result of volcano explosions. There are those that believe that the inland skyquakes are the result of mine bumps or mini earthquakes caused by the collapse of underground mine supports. Finally, some believe that the sounds are actually UFOs or military exercises which break the sound barrier, or perhaps they're meteors exploding in the air. Maybe one or more of these theories is correct. It's possible that there's more than one explanation for skyquakes. Between the years 2013 and 2015, scientists studied the EarthScope Transportable Array to determine the cause of skyquakes. The EarthScope Transportable Array is a collection of 400 atmospheric sensors and seismographs. It was used to measure seismic activity in the United States state of North Carolina, which is a hot spot for skyquakes. The study compared anecdotal evidence about when people heard skyquakes and compared the time periods with seismic activity in the area. During the study, 2 sensors picked up sounds between 1 and 10 seconds near Cape Fear, North Carolina. The sound from skyquakes can be loud enough to shake the ground, but in these cases no earthquakes were recorded at the time the skyquakes were heard. This study ruled out earthquakes as the cause of skyquakes. Researcher Eli Bird was an undergraduate studying geological sciences at the University of North Carolina. He had some thoughts on whether earthquakes were the cause of skyquakes. He said, "Generally speaking, we believe this is an atmospheric phenomenon. We don't think it's coming from seismic activity. We're assuming it's propagating through the atmosphere rather than the ground. Presumably, these are not all the same thing producing the booming sounds." There are some potential atmospheric causes of skyquakes. Bolides are large meteors that explode in the atmosphere. Some scientists believe that skyquakes are actually bolides exploding behind cloud cover so we can hear but not see them. It's also possible that atmospheric conditions amplify the sound of big waves near the sea. Large air masses coming together and clashing could potentially cause the loud noises. David Hill, United States Geological Survey Scientist Emeritus, explains that there are different explanations for any given incident, and that what causes a skyquake on the coast is not likely to be the same source as a quake in the desert, for example. What do you think causes skyquakes? Are they simply waves crashing off the shore? Or are they UFOs or the sonic boom of military exercises? Or maybe they're far-off thunderstorms? What do you think? Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ruddy Mysterious. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review and follow That's Ruddy Mysterious to be updated about new episodes. Tune in next Tuesday for another thought-provoking tale.